Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today I am very excited to be picking my June TBR. So just like I did last month, I have my TBR jar mug situation here, and I am going to be choosing 8 books from the jar. I also have a few books that I'm going to be reading this month that are going to be from other things, and I'll talk about those at the end of the video too. So I've got all of my TBR up on my laptop screen here, and I will put it up on the screen for you right now. I will try to, if I am choosing between books, to put those individual covers on the screen so you can see them, because I know it's an extensive TBR, right? I'm not exactly good at narrowing things down. So I have taken these out since the last time. I have mixed them up. If we get anything that says Sean's pick, then we're either gonna have to wait until he gets home because he is at work right now, or I'm gonna have to text him and see if he checks his phone in the middle of the school day. Let's go ahead and get started. Here we go with my first pick. I'm gonna try to reach down in here, pull one out, and let's see what we have. I'm gonna hold up here so you can kind of try to see. I don't know if that's gonna work. So it says over 500 pages. Okay, so I'm gonna need to do some research on this one. Let's look and see books that I immediately know are over 500 pages are going to be, I'm pretty sure Abaddon's Gate, that's the next book in The Expanse, would be over 500 pages. I'll have to see how long City of Stairs is, because that one I think is gonna be under 5 or over 500 pages. Definitely Oathbringer if I feel like reading Stormlight Archive 2 months in a row, which maybe I do. How long is the Jasmine Throne? Okay, so I have checked all of those books. I looked them all up on Goodreads, and it looks like Abaddon's Gate is going to be 539 pages. The Jasmine Throne is 533 pages, and unfortunately, City of Stairs is only 452 pages. So the question is, do I want to start a new series in the Jasmine Throne, or do I want to continue one of the really long series that I'm currently in the middle of? Am I crazy if I go ahead and say that I want to read Oathbringer, because I am feeling, I just read Words of Radiance. I started at the end of April, finished it early this month, and loved it so much, and already missed the characters. And so the first 2 books were both rereads for me, and this will be the first new one. And I already own it on Kindle, so I don't have to wait for the library, because those books are really hard to get from the library right now. So I hope I'm not gonna regret it, but I'm gonna go ahead and say Oathbringer is gonna be my book that is over 500 pages. And you will note that I do not have one in here that is for books that are over 1,000 pages, because this would have been it. All right, so that is pick number 1. All right, let's move on and let's try pick number 2. Try and get in here. Do I have one? Okay, have one. Okay, let's see what we have. I have a book with a black cover. Okay, let's go to the list. And I'm gonna count things that are kind of like majority black. I'm not gonna make it have to be something that is 100% black. So I have Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. That's one that I am pretty excited about reading. I don't really know much about it, but I know that the next book in the series is coming out really soon. I have, with a black background, we've got A Strange and Stubborn Endurance, which I'm gonna keep bringing up because I really wanna read it, but it might be a little bit more red than it is black, so I'm not sure. We have Home is Where the Bodies Are by Geneva Rose. I actually read the first chapter of this last month, and I thought it looked like it was gonna be a really good horror book, but I'm not sure if I want to read it yet or I want to save it for a different season. I'm not sure summer's really my horror season. We have Sisters of the Lost Nation, which is another horror book that I saw online. We have A Fire Endless, that's the second book in the Elements of Cadence duology by Rebecca Ross. We have The Practice, The Horizon, and The Chain which is a new release that I read the first chapter of and wasn't sure about, but I kept it on my list because the library keeps trying to give it to me. I think I'm gonna have to look up the descriptions for these and see what I think. Okay, so I've made my decision and I'm going to be reading Home is Where the Bodies Are by Geneva Rose. So let me read the description of that for you, give you a little summary of what it's about. It's a horror book and it is about 3 siblings who are estranged from one another who reunite after their mother passes away. And when going through all of their parents' things, they find a VHS tape, and that VHS tape appears to show a murder. And so now they're thrown into this mystery of what is this? Who were our parents? And I think that sounds like a really great setup for a horror book, and I am pretty excited about it. So I think it looks like a 3.95 average rating on Goodreads, and like I said, I already read the first chapter and I liked it. So I'm gonna give that one a try and we're gonna see how that is. So that is gonna be book number 2 for this month. Okay, so moving on, we're gonna do pick number 3, and let's see what we get. This one's folded up like really, really tightly. Let's see. Okay, so I got a science fiction novel. All right. So let's see, what are our choices here for science fiction? I have The Expanse, the next book in that. I've got The Space Between Worlds by Micah Johnson. I have The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. I have Cascade Failure, which is supposed to be another kind of like found family kind of thing. I do have Ancillary Justice by Ann Leckie, which I am kind of like tentatively excited about reading. I'm a little bit worried it's gonna confuse me, but I'm also excited, so. And then I am gonna consider Nona the Ninth to be science fiction, although I kind of think that that whole series, the Lock Tomb series, is really more of a sci-fantasy series. And then we have Empire of Silence by Christopher Ruocchio, which is the first book in a new sci-fantasy series. So let's see. I already know what I want to pick, and I'm going to pick the Becky Chambers, The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, because I have been dying to read this book for years, and it didn't make it onto my TBR last month, and I was really hoping I was going to get to it this month. So I don't know that much about this book, but I know that it is a found family story. You've got a found family on a spaceship. I just read a book last month that was very much about that, and I love that. That's one of my favorite tropes, and I really enjoy Becky Chambers' writing, and I'm pretty excited to get into this series. So that's going to be choice number 3. All right, book number 4. Reach down in here. Let's see what we have. It says, starts with a random letter, which means that I need to choose a random letter using a random number generator. So give me a minute to set that up. Okay, so I'm just gonna use this random letter wheel on my phone. I'm not recording my screen right now, so I'm just gonna hold this up and we're gonna do our best to see. So I'm gonna hit spin, and then I think you have to tell it to stop. Is that right? I'm not 100%. No, it's stopping. All right, what do we have? We have, if you're gonna be able to see that or not, but it is L. So the letter L. Okay, first of all, let's see if I have any books at all that start with the letter L. Scanning. No. I have no books that actually start with the letter L, but I do have some that have words that start with L in the title, so I think that's gonna count. So let's see what our choices are if just one of the words has to start with an L. We have Sisters of the Lost Nation. We have One Last Stop. We have The Library of Borrowed Hearts. How to Become the Dark Lord and Die Trying. Okay, that's it. So that is all we have. We have those 4 choices. Okay, so out of those, the ones that I'm the most interested in are One Last Stop, which is a romance novel, and How to Become the Dark Lord and Die Trying, which is going to be a new release fantasy book. Okay, so I am a little bit worried that How to Become the Dark Lord and Die Trying, so it sounds like it's gonna be funny. But I've also seen a lot of people saying that it's very, very dark, and also that it has a lot of pop culture references in it. And I don't like books with a lot of pop culture references in them because I never get them because unless it's a book, I probably don't know it. I think that my pick is gonna be One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. So let's read about that. Okay, so Casey McQuiston wrote Red, White, and Royal Blue, which is one of my favorite romance books just ever. I love it. And I haven't read anything else. So I am excited to read this one. This one is, I'm gonna read a little bit of this intro, throw it up on the screen for you. For cynical 23-year-old August, moving to New York City is supposed to prove her right. That things like magic and cinematic love stories don't exist, and the only smart way to go through life is alone. So we've got a loner. She can't imagine how waiting tables at a 24-hour pancake diner and moving in with too many weird roommates would possibly change that. But then there's this gorgeous girl on the train. And it's got a little bit of magical realism because this girl that she falls in love with, it turns out, has been displaced in time. So she's actually literally from the 1970s. So I don't know how that's gonna work out, but I think that sounds like it's probably gonna be cute because the author writes really cute books. And I'm excited to get a romance novel on here. So that's pick number 4. All right, let's move on to book number 5. Let's see, what do we get? Okay, this one is, I think I got this one last month too. This one is choose a book by the cover. And that means that I can pick whatever I want as long as I like the cover. So this is one of the ones that I think I put in here so that I could choose things I wanted to read if I couldn't find them. So let's see, what books do I like the cover of? Okay, so I really like the cover of Wolf Song, which is the kind of werewolf series by TJ Klune that I haven't actually started. So I love the new covers. The old covers are kind of whatever, but man, the new covers with the green and the wolf, like very into that. Let's see, what other covers are just like jumping out at me from this? The new cover, again, of Ancillary Justice. I really like the way that they all look together, the whole series, when you see them on the shelf together. I think that's a really great kind of creative looking cover. I didn't realize that I apparently don't pay that much attention to the covers of books. I really enjoy the cover of A Fire Endless. Both of those covers from those Rebecca Ross books I think are really cute. So let's see if I can choose between those choices. I think I'm still gonna go with TJ Klune. I think I'm gonna read Wolf Song. He is one of my favorite authors. I don't love everything that he's ever written, but generally I'm gonna have a pretty good time. So that's gonna be pick number, what are we on? 5. Book number 5 is gonna be Wolf Song by TJ Klune. All right, moving on. We need to get through these. Let's get to book 6. What am I gonna choose? I've got one, just one. Okay. We have a book with a red cover, and I have a lot of red. So we have A Strange and Stubborn Endurance, yes. We have Daughter of No Worlds, which is the new Carissa Broadbent series that I'm planning to start this year. We have Six Scorched Roses, which is the novella that comes after The Serpent and the Wings of Night by the same author. We have A Fire Endless again, and then Blood Over Braidhaven, definitely red. And we have Ancillary Justice by Ann Leckie, but I already know what I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna pick A Strange and Stubborn Endurance by Foz Meadows because I really wanna read it. So this is a fantasy queer love story that involves an arranged marriage. Always love an arranged marriage. Got some politics. We've got, I don't know. It just sounds really cute. And I read Winter's Orbit this month, which is a sci-fi romance which has similar themes. So I'm still kind of in that mood. So I think that reading A Strange and Stubborn Endurance, which I also just bought a physical copy of, sounds like a really good idea. So I think we're gonna do A Strange and Stubborn Endurance and get like a double dose of romance this month. All right, 2 more picks from the jar. And let's see what they're gonna be. Is this just one? No, it's 2. Put one back, okay. What did I get? Okay, I got a book with a green cover. Okay. So we're doing all the colors, I guess, this time. So we have, I already chose Wolfsong, so I can't choose that. I'm not gonna choose this green one up in the corner, The Cautious Traveler's Guide to the Wasteland, because I already have to read that for this month. It is an arc. Everyone in my family has killed someone. I would consider that color to be a blue-green, so I'm gonna count it. Also, Daughter of the Forest by Juliet Marillier. I think that's right. And then The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which is still hanging around my TBR because I didn't read it in April when it was on my TBR. But I think I'm gonna go with Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone because I have been dying to read this mystery for a year or more. When did it come out? It came out over a year ago. So let's look at the description of this. Everyone in my family has killed someone. Some of us, the high achievers, have killed more than once. I'm not trying to be dramatic, but it is the truth. Some of us are good, others are bad, and some just unfortunate. I'm Ernest Cunningham. Call me Ern or Ernie. I wish I'd killed whoever decided our family reunion should be at a ski resort, but it's a little more complicated than that. So, it's a mystery. I'm kind of in the mood for a mystery. Haven't had any mysteries, so I think that's gonna be a very good pick, and I'm glad that I got it. Okay, so now we have one more pick from the jar for June. Let's see if there are any books that I feel like I am hoping to read. I mean, I think there's a lot of things on here I would be happy to end up with, but I don't know if there's anything that is jumping out at me that I must read. So let's see. Let us see what we get. Okay, is that just one? Okay, got it. And this one says, it says, a fantasy. Okay, well, twist my arm. Let's see what we have here that I could read for a fantasy. Starting on the top row, fantasies, we have Inkblood Sister Scribe, which I've been meaning to read all year. We have Yumi and the Nightmare Painter by Brandon Sanderson, which is the next secret project book I need to read. We have The Will of the Many, which I'm gonna finish one of these months. It is going to happen. The Goblin Emperor by Catherine Addison, which I am very excited to read, actually. Black Sun, we already talked about that. The Book of Doors, Daughter of No Worlds, these are all fantasies. I read so much fantasy. The Once and Future Witches by Alex E. Harrow. So that's one that is a standalone that has been kind of at the top of my want to read list for a while. So I'm gonna put that one as a possibility. So The Once and Future Witches. So I do want to read Inkblood Sister Scribe. I do want to read The Goblin Emperor and The Once and Future Witches. But out of those, I definitely think that I'm going to pick The Once and Future Witches by Alex E. Harrow. But now that I've said that, I feel like, oh, I don't know, maybe I should. No. We're going to give it a try. But if I don't like it, I can read one of the others as a backup. Okay. So that is all 8 books that I pulled from the TBR jar, cup, mug, whatever, this month. So that's everything that has been chosen for me by fate. And then I'm gonna talk to you now about the things that I am thinking about reading outside of that list. Okay, so the first book that I know I'm gonna read in June is The Cautious Traveler's Guide to the Wasteland by Sarah Brooks, because I have an arc. So this book, the setup is that you are traveling on a train called the Trans-Siberian Express. You are traveling through the wastelands. I don't know what that means. And I think it's described to be a little bit like Murder on the Orient Express, where you're following all these different people. There are secrets, people have their motivations. I don't know if there's a mystery. I'm not exactly sure about that, but I think this book looks really good. I thought it looked really intriguing, so I asked for the arc and I was really excited to get it. So I'm gonna be reading that pretty early in the month so that I can go ahead and get that review out. Okay, another book that I'm planning to read in June that is a new release is Service Model by Adrian Tchaikovsky. The blurb says it is a humorous tale of robotic murder from the Hugo-nominated author of Elder Race and Children of Time. So I think we've got a situation where humanity has gotten themselves really reliant on robot labor. So what happens if those robots somehow are now able to, like, say, murder someone? Yeah, that's a real standard setup, right? We've read a lot of books that are like that, but it never fails for me. And I am still searching for the book by this author that is really gonna blow me away. I tried to read Children of Time, but it turns out that I am very, very afraid of spiders. So that was a bad pick for me. So I want to try this one because this one sounds right up my alley. I love stories about artificial intelligence and robots and things like that. So I think this one looks great. I'm on the list at the library and I think that I'm first or second in line. So I would expect to get it on release date and be able to tell you what I think about that come July. Okay, so, and then continuing on with the new releases, that's what most of these are gonna be. We have The Afterlife of Mal Caldera. I'm again on the list at the library for this. It comes out June 11th and the blurb says, Mal's life is over, her afterlife is only just beginning. So it's got a very kind of Day of the Dead inspired cover, which I'll put up over here that I think looks really great. It's about Mal Caldera. It says former rock star, retired wild child, and excommunicated black sheep of her Catholic family is dead. Not that she cares. So she manages to enlist the help of a medium, and together they concoct a plan to pass on a message to her younger sister. But the more time they spend together, the more they begin to wonder what might have been if they'd met before Mal died. So a little bit of a romance in there too. I think it sounds really different. Early reviews are really positive, so I put myself on the list and I'm really excited to get to this one in the month of June, hopefully. And then finally, the last book that I am hoping I am able to get to in June is called A Novel Love Story, and it's the new release by Ashley Poston. Ashley Poston wrote The 7-Year Slip and The Dead Romantics. I didn't like The 7-Year Slip so much, but I absolutely adored The Dead Romantics, and this one sounds really cute and charming. Her stories always have this element of magical realism to them. It's not just a romance novel. And this one says, Eileen Merriweather loves to get lost in a good happily ever after. But when her car unexpectedly breaks down on her way to her book club, she finds herself stranded in a quaint town that feels like it's right out of a novel, because it is. So she finds herself inexplicably inside the small town that is from her favorite romance novel series. And obviously there's going to be some romance. Looks like there is a grumpy bookseller. Yes, yes. So I think that sounds really cute, and I'm really hoping it's going to be one of hers that's going to really hit for me. She's an author I really enjoy. Even the books I didn't like as much, I still recommend them to people because I still think they're good. So I'm really excited for that. That one comes out on June 25th, so I don't know if I'll get to it in June or not. I'm on the list at the library, but it just depends how many copies they end up buying, whether I get it that first week or whether it gets pushed to July. So there you have it. That's all of the books that I am planning to read in the month of June. As always, this list is subject to change because I am a mood reader, and sometimes I start something and just not feeling it that month. And sometimes I get through my entire TBR like I did in the month of May. So if you've enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. I appreciate everyone here so much. And I will see you back here in the next video. Bye.